There have been so many times that I've gone shopping online, filling up my cart with clothes and home goods. Then I hit the checkout screen and realized I don't have my card saved in the browser and I abandoned my order. MasterCard's new initiative aims to change this forever in all European countries come 2030. The credit card provider is removing the need for manual card entry entirely. So what does removing this friction in the checkout process mean for the future of e-commerce payments? Now, Roxy, how many times have you had a full cart of items online and just never ordered it because entering your card number was just one extra step? Inconvenient, really.
Oh, yeah, all the time. And I blame it on the convenience of one-click checkout. So like on TikTok and Instagram, I see something I want, I click, I buy it right then and there. These platforms are training consumers what to expect from an online shopping experience. And we've talked about this before, but they make it almost too easy. So
easy.
Yeah.
We've talked about this. We actually do a weekly show too, not to go to Plug City, but we talked about how easy TikTok Shop is making it, where like the one click, I'm buying way too much and it's actually becoming a problem.
Right. And that almost becomes a standard when you're, when a platform creates this convenience for you, you're expecting it from somewhere else. It's like Amazon 2-day shipping. That was not the norm that it is right now. If you can't get it in 2 days, you don't want it.
Yeah. Do I even really need it?
Right.
I saw one creator that I follow on TikTok, and she was like, make a list, really evaluate, because it's so easy to make those impulse purchases because it's so easy now that like the amount of times you probably make an impulse purchase a day because it's so easy.
Right.
It's getting out of hand.
It happens to me all the time. And so that's from like as a consumer, that's what I think but from a UX perspective, I have designed checkout experiences in the past, and I know the importance of reducing the amount of steps it takes to check out, because the more steps you have, you start to see customers dropping off through every step of the funnel. So, but yeah, like also as a customer, entering my credit card every time, it just feels like legacy technology. It's an inconvenience.
Well, I was thinking about this from a like social purchases perspective. I think it's more commonplace to buy on, say, a TikTok shop or an Instagram. I saw a stat that there will be 110.4 million social media buyers by the end of 2024, which is half of all social media users together. Yeah. So I'm just thinking about the fact that those platforms have gateways like PayPal or Apple Pay or Cash App or Venmo. And if I don't see those available, sometimes I'm not even making a purchase if I have to grab my credit card.
Right.
My mom is the type of person, though, that like memorizes her credit card number. Do you?
My husband is that way.
I can't. I know what my last 4 digits are, obviously. But like if I have to go grab it, that's why I'm also like one of those people that saves my information on every platform, which also may or may not be bad. But I'm all about the ease of use. And when it comes to buying something, I have like at least 5 credit cards loaded.
Yeah.
I get nervous when I see all of them. I'm like, okay, which credit card am I using today? So I saw this headline that got my attention, and it's from CNBC. And they say MasterCard is set to phase out manual card entry for online payments in Europe by 2030. So I'm going to read a couple things to kind of get everybody up to speed. But basically, they'll no longer require Europeans to enter their card numbers, no matter what platform or device that they're using. So instead of that 16-digit card number, they're going to be generating a random token, which I find interesting. But it'll allow you to make a one-click payment at the checkout using this authentication with your thumbprint. Right. So I'm kind of wondering what the implications would be for that versus actual manually entering your card number. Right. What do you think?
I think it's just going to change the game. I mean, and consumers, we underestimate the ability of consumers to adapt to a change in the market. Like it's kind of like using other payment gateways like PayPal. There's a reason why, I don't want to check out with anything besides PayPal because I'm trained to always look for that option and to check out that way, because in my mind, that's more convenient than other options that I might have utilized in the past.
I'm curious about like certain brands that you buy from more regularly. Do you sign up, because all of them want you to create a password and an email.
First party data.
So they want you to become a user on their website. So that way your card's already loaded into the site and you don't have to check out as the guest. Are you a guest checkouter, or do you save your info?
It depends on the brand, but
Okay.
that also goes back to convenience. The reason why we use different like payment methods is also convenience. Like if you allow me to create an account just using my phone number, yes. But if you need an email and a password, no. If you allow me to sign in through Google, yes.
A Google sign in is a game changer for sure. Okay. So those are your criteria.
Yeah, some of them.
Okay. I think too, like when retailers actually put those preferred payment methods, or, allow multiple different guest checkouts or whatever the case might be, people are favoring those, and we're seeing that more and more. But research states that online shoppers actually abandon the purchases. And that's what you were saying. You see like a significant drop off the more complicated process you have. And there's now a rise of the buy now, pay later.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah, that's huge. If you don't have a buy now, pay now, or buy now, pay later option, you're almost behind the curve. I was actually looking at, I do a lot of analysis around like what happened during Cyber Monday, what happened Black Friday, what were people searching for, what were they buying, how are they purchasing? And Adobe released some data about buy now, pay later. And one of the things that they said was that an all-time high usage was seen on Cyber Monday. This was 2023. So I definitely believe that's going to continue. They also stated there was a 42.5% year over year lift in buy now, pay later.
Totally. Well, the payment plan in general, like I just bought a mattress that I'm on a payment plan for. I'm just like mentally preparing. I'm just mentally preparing for, like that length of time that I'm going to have to pay for it for. Obviously, no one wants to go into debt, but when they're offering 0% interest and you're literally giving
better deal,
it's a better deal. So I think that they're trying to appeal to a wide demographic range with that, but probably more younger consumers. Gen Z, maybe millennials, just because it offers an option for financial flexibility. Like, do I want to be out $2,000 today, or can I spread it out over 36 months? So,
I
think it allows for like a simpler approval process. And of course, the instant gratification. Like, I want it now, so I want to buy it now and figure it out later. Which is sometimes my MO, which
buy now, figure out later.
Yeah, literally. The money will,
great motto.
Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, guys, come on.
And I think the UX is everything on this. So it's like from a brand perspective, it's not enough to just, I think a lot of times when we think about like flexible payment option and like how someone's actually going to pay for the purchase, we think about it as they get to the checkout. But like I mentioned, where consumers are dropping off in the funnel, it's also important to think about when's the first time you consider making that purchase. It's probably not after you add it into cart and seeing like, how do I want to pay for this? It's probably like in the upper funnel. So like as a brand, when you think about integrating new payment options, how you integrate them seamlessly into the experience, where is it at? Like, is it in your footer? Like, are you educating customers on like, hey, you just got to our site. We do have a lot of flexibility and how you might pay for this, especially for like high consideration purchases like furniture, mattresses, are an example of that. But even as you get like lower in the funnel, like PDP, yes, there are easy ways for you to pay for this. Break it up into 4 payments. You're educating them again. They added the item to the cart. You're reinforcing that messaging there. And then also like when they finally get to that checkout option, they already know like, oh, I already know they have PayPal. I know they have Klarna. Like, because along the funnel, you've already educated them. And in the back of their mind, they might be thinking, like, as you're making a purchase decision, you also, especially big purchases, you already have, this is my budget for this.
Yeah.
But now I know they have these flexible payment options. Maybe I can go with a different option than I was initially intending. So
totally. I think there are so many options that brands can tap into, but they're just the fact that they're making it as easy as possible can get people into trouble, but I think it's really great and seamless. And we always talk about like that frictionless, seamless experience.
It's all about removing friction.
And I think too, like
payment is a friction point.
Huge, especially if you have your eye on something and you know you really want to buy it. All you need is that little push. The marketing along the way throughout the funnel before they get to the site. I think that messaging is so important.
Right. Exactly.
Well, I was thinking about the fact that there's got to be a pretty deep ecosystem when it comes to figuring out payment process. So not only is it on the site, but these brands are dealing with banks and fintech companies and merchants kind of adopting and promoting these new payment systems, similar to the messaging we were just speaking about. So kind of wondering how important those partnerships will be. And does everyone work with everybody, or how does it work? Because I see different, I don't know, brands and companies and partnerships every single time I go to a new site. So kind of wondering how that ecosystem will work.
I'll be honest, I think it's difficult to talk about payment and payment options without talking about security, because one of the biggest aspects of whatever vendor you go with, partner you go with for your payment options, they have to offer security. Like you have to be able to encrypt a credit card information, because you don't want your shoppers' information stolen. So I think in terms of partnership, that's what brands are should be cognizant of, and also what they're keeping in mind. I do think there's some work to be done on your persona mapping. Like, you can pull this robust or do market research on this robust ecosystem of your shopper. Like, oh, we know that most of them own one home, single family home. Their income is this. They also are more likely to engage in buy now, pay later. Maybe they're PayPal, they have a PayPal account. I think there's a lot that brands can do around identifying who their core consumer is and what payment options make sense to them. And I'm sure and I haven't looked into the data on this, but I'm sure there's payment options that Gen Z prefers as opposed to millennials or Gen Alpha. So I think understanding your customer and what they desire can really help you to identify who do we need to partner with and what makes the most sense for our business.
Totally. I feel like it always goes back to the customer. We always talk about customer obsessed. The customer is always right. And usually they're looking for convenience.
Yeah.
So what will get you there?
Right.
I saw a stat by 2027, about 35% of all U.S. consumer purchases are going to be through digital wallets too.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, and surpassing credit and debit cards because of convenience.
Yeah.
And it's truly I have my phone on me all the time. I don't want to carry my wallet. Let's make it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
So I wonder those frictionless checkouts from in person and online, how they're going to impact sales.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's going to drive sales up just due to the sheer fact of convenience.
Right. And there's also, from a brand perspective, if you're looking for a potential partner, there's fees associated with it too. So, maybe based on your volume of sales, some of the options might not make sense in terms of the setup fee, the integration fees. There's technology fees to integrating. It's a huge thing. So that's also something to, retail and brands should keep in mind as they're thinking about who's the right one to partner for our business.
Well, for us being in the technology space, we know how that works. I mean, not everybody needs what we have to offer.
Right.
I always think it's kind of fun to take a look at the history behind something. And I think one-click payments is interesting, but it actually started in 1999. I don't know if you knew that, but Amazon kind of patented the concept, which I found really interesting.
I believe it.
Yeah. The patent, it was valued at $2.4 billion per year, and it expired in 2017. So that's why we saw a huge boom in popularity and adoption after that happened. So obviously, one click out comes from Shopify to Square. And I know Shopify is a Bloomreach partner, but as of July 2024, they predict that TikTok will have 35.8 million social commerce users in the US.
Wow.
So it's fewer than Facebook and Instagram, but still more than Pinterest.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that people are using TikTok Shop for inspo and making it as easy to find new items. I mean, we talk about product discovery on TikTok all the time. Yep. So I guess it's just really impressive, the short time that it's been around, how much it's taking off in popularity.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I agree. And I think just going back to product discovery, because that's what we do. We do, AI driven search, but product discovery, people are moving beyond just I'm going to search for this, show me a grid of products. The reason why they're going to Pinterest, they're going to TikTok is it's that visual element of it. Not only do I want you to tell me what I should be buying, but also I want to see the content behind it. I want to see what other people are saying about it, like very candid feedback. Like we talked about Reddit too. There's a reason why like some product discovery starts on Reddit because they're going to give it to you straight. Like,
Totally.
how exactly did you feel about this product?
Mm-hmm.
And why do I need it? So, I definitely, like when it comes to like the one click, I didn't know the history behind it, but I assume that Amazon had to have started it because of
Makes sense.
the innovation around what they've done, and this ability to just be able to like click a plus sign and the items in your cart ready to buy. A lot of times without even leaving the product detail page. And when we talk about friction, like we said, like every step of the journey creates a little bit of friction, and people are like, "Do I need it?" Like even it's like when you're walking into a physical store and you grab something because you want to buy this item, but the longer you're in the store, the longer you walk around.
Like, do I really need it?
Do I need it? Let me go try it on. Still, do I need it? I like it. Do I need it? And then leave the fitting room and you like hang it on the rack because you're like, oh, I decided I did not want it. But like there's all this like in your head, there's these decisions that you're making. And yeah, you want to eliminate that as much as possible.
Well, I think that's funny because the Amazon version of that is like the buy now versus the add to cart.
Yes.
Because if I know I need something, I am buying now in the moment.
Yeah.
Because with Prime, I get free shipping. I could,
Yeah.
But for other brands where you need to get to $50 to get the free shipping, with
Right.
Amazon, I don't even care. I just know I need it.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy now. But the add to cart is that extra step
Right.
that will allow me to think and decide and like mull over the purchase. And then sometimes you end up just walking away from your cart
Yeah.
because you've thought about it too much,
Right.
which is the story of my life. So.
Right. And Amazon also, from a recommendation strategy, and we offer this too to our customers. This is like buy it again aspect, especially for like consumable CPG products, this ability to just be able to see like, oh, these are all the things that I purchased before. I want to easily add those things to my cart and purchase again. I see a lot of recommendation strategies from retailers where like they're thinking about like the consideration, getting you to see new products and engage with those products, but not always like the post purchase. And we talk about customer lifetime value. We want them to increase their like units per transaction. We want them to come back and buy again, making it very easy to do so by offering those type of like personalization and recommendation strategies can help.
Totally. What about like subscribe and save? I know that that's become more of a thing. We'll probably touch on subscriptions soon, but just in regards to like making it easier for people to come back without having to think about it.
Yeah, I think it's very category specific.
Okay.
And what I've seen, because I've worked with like CPG products, and like and even as a consumer myself, there are certain categories that people are more likely. Like I worked on a business once that was like water filters. You need a water filter for your refrigerator. You need to replace it every 6 months. Like if there is a product that needs to be replaced, needs to be replenished, you should have a subscription model. And the perks of it is like people were going to buy it anyways. The perks is that now they're going to buy it from you and they're going to buy it more frequently because like Amazon, they give this discount. I know I'm going to get this discount if I continue to replenish these items through Amazon versus going somewhere else.
It always gets me. Like,
it's easy.
It's so easy. It takes all of the thought out of it, which that book that we were talking about, the Don't Make Me Think.
Yes, exactly.
That's a great one. A good reference of this because it's like, that's what
Don't Make Me Think.
Literally don't make me think.
I think we also, we cannot underestimate convenience. And I think we do that a lot. And I think as another thing is retailers and brands, they're competing on more than just price. And I know that's like a shocker because we talk about like people are more price conscious, but there's a reason why people continue to buy certain things because we are competing on more than just price. It's the experience, it's the convenience. And retailers and brands that do it best are the ones that continue like to have these like increase their customer lifetime value and people continue to buy from them.
Totally. And that's longevity too. Like you keep them around, you keep them coming back for sure. Well, I'm curious about the tokenization piece because I do think that there's some AI and some futuristic visions around payment and innovation. I guess I'm just kind of wondering like, are we going to see more AI baked into payments? I know AI-driven assistance or voice-activated payments, or even new currency. I mean, there's just so many options here, but like, is the future of payments is AI baked into that?
Yeah. I think in the future, AI could potentially be baked into it, but I do think there's probably some regulations and guidelines around it. I know from just even implementing, being on the brand side and implementing a credit card, uh, there are so many guidelines around like when can you actually promote a credit card or promote the payment options and what makes the most sense. So I definitely think there's going to be like guardrails and regulations around it, but leveraging AI for to get those insights into like when are people most likely to purchase and what's their purchase frequency and when we have the price at this level versus this level, did they buy more? I think AI can definitely will help us to understand that better, which makes us better marketers because now we understand all those different consumer touch points and we can be more intentional about our marketing and our strategy around it.
Totally. Well, I'm like always thinking about ways that AI can make my workflows easier.
Oh, me
So
too.
it's not
Me too.
surprising that this will probably evolve. Like we'll be
Yeah.
here in 6 months talking about how far we've come.
Yeah.
But in the future, I mean, I'd love to see an AI driven assistant take care of budgeting even from the consumer side, like automating routine payments, like we talked about, the
Yeah.
subscribe and save, maybe enhancing fraud detection, which
Yeah.
I know is something big. So I think this desire for automation leads to the concept that we talk about of like embedded finance, which I think is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that basically means you're integrating financial services like lending or payment processing and insurance just kind of directly into that non-financial platform, such as the e-commerce sites or like an Uber or a Lyft, something like that. So I guess in the context of e-commerce payments, that embedded finance can significantly enhance that customer satisfaction and really make those options, like they have those instant financing options at checkout.
Yeah. And it almost becomes like a part of the experience as opposed to like buy now, pay later. And being in commerce for so long, it is off brand to push finance and payments depending on the brand. Like some lifestyle brands, like, yes, we know people buy, we know that they might need to, some assistance or like not want to pay the full price now, but like it is off brand to have like that messaging almost cheapens the brand. Yeah. So, but by using innovation and AI, and I think that's also like those data driven insights, but seamlessly integrating it into the experience is the way to go. So
totally. Well, I wonder too, like I want to double click on potential manual card entries. And I don't want to like be negative here, but I'm thinking about the fact that like data breach, I feel like there's a new one every couple of months. And I feel like protecting data is something so important to brands, especially with laws around it. And, the hesitancy of giving your information over and having your information saved in Google or whatever the case might be. So, I'm kind of curious about how that will evolve. Do you feel like brands are hyper conscious about this?
I think that they are. And I think the one thing that can ruin consumer trust is not having security, like not feeling secure in checking out with you. And so I know there's like heightened visibility and like, brands are very aware of the fact that like we need a secure payment option. And any way that we can remove this like need to put in your full credit card number or like for us to own that data and our like data lake is the way to go, because now people can check out without having that amount of information that opens them up to data breaches.
Totally. Well, I think too, like, not only is entering your card number an inconvenience, but you also are at higher risk. So I think people are hesitating a little bit when it comes to future payments. I thought it was interesting, like according to market research, losses from online payment fraud are expected to exceed 91 billion by 2028, which is crazy.
Wow.
And that's like 362 billion globally over the next 5 years.
Yes.
So it's not going away anytime soon, but it's something that like retailers
constantly evolving.
It is evolving, and I feel like you have to stay on top of it.
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed this, but one of the innovations that Apple came out with, actually I'm not seeing it as much anymore, is this ability to put your phone, your camera over your card, and it like reads the numbers. But I don't know if that technology still exists because I don't see that on e-commerce websites anymore. Did
Oh,
you
like
ever
you,
leverage it when you
yeah, like you kind of like hover your camera over
and
and
it
it
just
like
reads the
read,
number?
yeah, so you don't have to type it
I don't
in.
see that anymore.
Huh. I don't remember the last time I saw it, but it's actually smart. I mean,
It again, it's a convenience factor. I
yeah,
mean, you did have to have your credit card in your hand,
in your
but
hand. Yeah.
think about how we are as consumers. Like, oh yeah, I'll just take a picture as opposed to type in all these
A
numbers.
lot easier. Well, I was thinking about too, like the latest data breaches that were in the news were like AT&T, Ticketmaster. I know Ticketmaster got a lot of flack for being like not even notifying their customers
Yeah,
in a timely manner. They were late via mail, but they offered a free trial to the credit monitoring company that
yeah,
they actually own, which
yeah.
like was just benefiting them even more. And I feel like once you lose trust, I guess how do you get it back?
So some of the things that, of course, not all businesses have had data breaches and things like that, but there are definitely ways that you build consumer trust. So we talked about from an upper funnel perspective, just letting customer know oh, we have all these flexibility and payment options, it's secure, things like that. But if you look at retailer sites now, they do build that confidence throughout the funnel. So as you start to get to the lower funnel, you'll start to see messaging around begin your secure checkout, messaging like that, just building that confidence and making that purchase decision. But I mean, again, this is security is so serious in terms of making sure that the shopper information is secure. And also I feel I mean, at the end of the day, when there is a data breach or something like that, is on the brand, but going with a good partner
Totally.
who is also thinking about this. This is all they do is payment, and they're thinking about the security and how do we keep shopper information secure. That goes a long ways. That's why choosing the right partner is so important.
Yeah, but finding the right partner that matches whatever need you have and someone who's taking data as seriously as you are is key.
Right.
Those partnerships help your brand grow together and ultimately give the customer a better experience.
Right. So as I think about the conversation we just had and how brands and retailers should think about their checkout flow, I don't think that the goal should be necessarily to get to one click, because honestly, that might not be possible depending on your product type, depending on your assortment, depending on your customer journey. But what I do think we should be doing is obsessing over the experience and seeing where your customers are dropping down through the funnel. I see a lot of brands and retailers with 3, 4, 5 steps in their checkout flow. If you're looking at your data and you're looking at that funnel, you're saying okay, this step 2 or 3, this is where a majority of our customers are falling out, then you should try to reduce those steps by down to that 2 or 3 and optimize that as much as possible in order to create that more frictionless experience for your customers.
I love what you said, because it's really not one size fits all.
Right.
At the end of the day, to bring it full circle, MasterCard implementing this new initiative is really going to kick things off. We're going to continue to see friction being taken out of the checkout process, which I think will be great. But it's imperative for e-commerce brands to really lock in and figure out what works for them and make it seamless for customers so it's as easy as possible for them to buy. So this conversation has been amazing. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to let us know on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear how you're feeling about frictionless checkouts for brands in the e-commerce space. And if you're looking for more insights on e-commerce and AI and everything happening in the market, sign up for our Edge newsletter. You'll get perspectives and insights on what's happening in the industry. But thanks for listening. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.